Another day, another analysis video. Today we are analyzing a game called Clutch, also known as Armageddon Riders. Hi everyone, as always Patrick here. If you're already subscribed, make sure you turn on notifications, otherwise YouTube won't tell you if I posted anything. If you are new to the channel, make sure you watch until the very end and consider subscribing if you like it. Okay, Clutch aka Armageddon Riders. Clutch or Armageddon Riders was developed by Targem Games and published by Game Factory Interactive in 2009. Oh, by the way, for the rest of the video I will refer to this game as Clutch because I really don't feel like saying Armageddon Riders all the time. Anyway, let's start the analysis video by analyzing the graphics. They are bad. They're not terrible, but they're not good. They are below average. Bad texture work, bad lighting, and surprisingly good special effects for some reason. That's the best way I can describe the game's graphics. What about the options? Well, this game doesn't have a lot of options. Yes, the game does support widescreen resolutions like 1080p. It also works with on multi-monitor setup with minor issues. Those minor issues also apply to the widescreen resolution. Also, I almost forgot, the game does run at high frame rates, so your gameplay is going to be smooth at least. But a lot of options are missing, to say the least. VSync seems to be missing, anti-aliasing seems to be missing, anisotropic filtering seems to be missing. Like when you go into the options, all you get is, you can change your resolution, you can change the quality of the graphics, and that's pretty much it. And as you would expect from this kind of game, there's no FOV slider. Now, the way FOV works in this game is interesting because the FOV does increase with higher resolutions. So, for example, if you choose the FOV of 1080p, the resolution of 1080p, the FOV will be automatically applied to that resolution. So the FOV is not terrible, but the difference in FOV isn't really noticeable. So yeah, you can always change the FOV by doing a simple trick. This trick is a very easy workaround. All you have to do is look for the config file, then look for the part that says set a cam FOV in it, and then you change the resolution, the FOV value there. So yeah, easy fix, but this doesn't change the fact that the game doesn't have a lot of options. What about the game's stability? Well, the game didn't crash, didn't stutter, and didn't lag. So that means, yeah, the game is playable. It doesn't do any of those stupid things every 5 seconds. So yeah, the PC release is lacking. It is functional, but it is lacking. Okay, now it's time to talk about the story. I'll be honest with you, I have absolutely no idea what's going on with the story. Remember my intro for this video? When I did my intro, I showed this, scrolling text. This scrolling text is all you need to know about the story. Oh, what? You don't remember that scrolling text already? Don't worry, I'll read it out for you. September 24, 2006. The International Research Institute of Atom City. A massive anomaly occurred, accompanied by forceful energy blowouts as a result of the collider's operation failure. The UN Emergency Commission's meeting declared Atom City a disaster area completely off limits. Although it was officially reported that there were no survivors, some newspapers rumored that dreadful creatures filled the streets of the dead city. And yet, dread gives way to greed. The reward the corporations offer for the Atom City artifacts is too high to decline. Too many people are ready to risk it all for a fistful of coins. Many reckless mercenaries, adventurers, and just plain marauders found their way inside the perimeter in quest for gold and glory. But most of all, they are lured by the Collider, the dark heart of the city, where one is rumored to gain power no money can buy. Yeah, like I've said before, that is all you need to know about the story. The main character also creates those diaries that tell you more about the world you live in, basic world building stuff. But that doesn't matter and it actually makes things more confusing, so it's better if you just ignore that. This story is split to 3 different episodes, but nothing really happens in all of them, so yeah, the story is not very good. Well, I wouldn't say it's not good, it's just confusing. That's all. The story is confusing, and to be honest, I think it's better if you just ignore the story. Which is something that I am going to do, and I'm going to talk about the gameplay. Surprisingly enough, I don't have much to say, because there's not much to cover, but I'll still try to cover as much as I can. Alright, let's cover the basics. Clutch is a free-form or a free-roam racing and zombie mowing game. Plays a lot like a gory budget mix of Flat Out, Crash Day and Burnout Paradise with zombies. This is also one of the very few games to natively support RAW-cap ultrasonic tracking devices. Yeah, those are the basics. Let's cover the more in-depth stuff. Clutch is an arcade racer. You may argue that it's not a racing game because you didn't really see anything regarding racing, but this game does have racing events, a lot of them actually. But I will talk about those events and other event types in a moment. For now, as you all know, I always analyze the physics, the vehicle handling, the cars, the tracks, and other stuff like that. So let's analyze those things first. Like I've said before, this game is an arcade racer, so the vehicle handling and the physics are arcadey, as you would expect. The cars have decent speed, they are able to turn as you would expect, they turn normally, except when you're boosting. When you are boosting then you can't turn at all. Okay, maybe I'm overreacting here, but you can turn a little bit, but yeah, it's very hard to turn when you're boosting. The cars also have a decent amount of downforce. You will never fly for too long. And yeah, the vehicles, the cars function as they should. What about the physics? Well, the physics work. That's the best thing I can say about the physics, really, because I just don't have anything to say. The cars have good physics, physical objects have good physics. Well, overall, this game has good physics. I don't really know what to say about them other than they have good physics. I will say one thing though. As you would expect from a game like this, I did say before that you are running over zombies almost all the time, and the zombies have good ragdolls. They react accordingly when getting hit. They have cool animations. They're not really amazing, but they are but it gets the job done. And what can I say? The the objects, like I've mentioned, the normal objects also have good physics. Yeah. Basically, those physics objects react accordingly, and you can also use them against zombies and of other drivers if you really need it. Well, mostly against zombies, since when you're driving against other drivers, well, or should I say racing against other drivers, they don't really do much, but you can still mess with the AI, so that's cool. Okay, now let's talk about the cars. This game doesn't have a lot of cars, but to be honest, this game doesn't need to have a lot of cars. Especially when you consider the fact that almost every car behaves the same. There are some minor differences between them, but it's nothing special. Some of those cars are better for racing, some of them are better for running over zombies, some of them are better for derbies, and some of them are better for something else. And believe me or not, but that's all I have to say about those cars because, like I've said before, there's not much to talk about here. Also, those cars are customizable and upgradable, and you can really have fun with those things. The problem is when it comes to customizability and upgrading things, well, there's not much you can choose from, but you can still have fun with this. Most of the customizable things are things you can use to run over zombies with. I mean, it's always fun, but maybe that's not what I'm looking for when I'm looking for upgrades. But then there are other things like upgrading your cars. Basic stuff, upgrading the engine, the speed, and other stuff. Basic stuff, but it does make the game better. So I'm fine that customize you. I'm just glad that you're able to customize and upgrade your vehicles. I keep talking about those zombies a lot here, and I should mention that this game kinda reminds me of Armageddon in a way. You know, you run everything and everyone over actually, and you get this satisfaction from it. Well, I will talk more about this satisfaction later. Now it's time to talk about the tracks, or in this case maps. There are 3 maps in the game. You can free roam on them. All of those maps are very well designed and they are also easy to memorize. This game takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, so a lot of things you'll see are ruined, quote unquote. A ruined city and a lot of ruined stuff like ruined buildings, ruined railways, ruined tracks, and so on and so forth. You also have those special orbs and portals that tell you what to do or where to go, so you will never get lost in this game, which is a good thing. As for the tracks themselves, they are based on the map you're currently driving on. For example, I am driving on the map from episode 1 and the tracks are based on this map. The maps themselves are decently designed and because of that, you can think of several track combinations. The tracks themselves are pretty basic, but they do have some nice touches. For example, there are ramps you can use, and I suggest using those ramps since you get boost this way, well, by using them. And some of those tracks also have multiple pathways. Well, more specifically, some of those tracks have like and a separate pathway that you can use, which only lasts like 3 to 5 seconds. But those alternate pathways are there. That's cool. However, not everything in this game is just racing. There are a lot of other types of events. For example, you have arenas, and you also have other tasks that also take place on the map. For example, right now you can see that I'm trying to get artifacts. Those artifacts that the story tells you about, how important they are, and stuff like that. Yeah, apparently they are valuable and you have to collect them. There are a lot of game modes to talk about, but honestly, I don't really feel like it. I'll just leave you to it. Like, I'll let you experience everything. I don't want to spoil everything. I mean, there's not much to spoil, but still, I just want you to experience the game. Overall, the vehicle handling, the physics, the maps, the tracks, and the cars aren't amazing, but they get the job done. Okay, now it's time to talk about the bad stuff. And I don't know where to begin, to be honest. First of all, while the maps and the tracks are decently designed, they're pretty boring. You don't feel any emotions when you're racing, when you're crashing into someone in arenas, and you also don't really feel that much of a satisfaction when you run over zombies compared to other games like Armageddon. When you think about it, Armageddon does this whole running someone over aspect of the game a lot better than Clutch. Second of all, the vehicle handling and physics, while decent, they could have been better. Lastly, while you're playing this game, you will have this weird feeling. You will be enjoying the game, but you will also have this feeling called what am I playing, or why am I playing this? There are other games like this that do this job better. It's not terrible, it's just that other games like this do this aspect better, do the gameplay better, do everything better. And that last complaint brings us to the conclusion. So, in conclusion, this game is okay. Just okay. The game has decent vehicle handling, decent physics, decent map design, decent track design, decent cars, decent customization, decent upgrades. Everything about this game just screams decent or okay at best. You can play the game, but don't expect much. If you ask me, I suggest waiting for sale, because when the game is on sale, it's actually really cheap, like dirt cheap. I don't remember how cheap, but it's incredibly cheap, just dirt cheap. All I can say is get it on sale, and I hope you will have fun playing the game. But that pretty much sums up everything I wanted to say in this analysis video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Just